I'm with Stephen Dooley from Sullivan and Cromwell. And Stephen, thank you so much for taking some time. We're at ILTA. It's 2025. There's a vibe and there's an energy here that's, I don't know, it's like relaxed. It's cool, right?
Yeah. I think people were excited. This is one of the first conferences that we're coming to for this conference season, right? So a lot of energy, a lot of content. Obviously glad to see my friends, see you, It's just like coming home in some ways every August.
Well, today is Wednesday and it's coming home.
Yeah.
We were talking before. I think on Sunday and Monday there was a little bit of tension, right? There was a little tension, there was a little anxiety. Everybody was in their own private Idaho, coming from wherever they were coming from, and it has been an intense 9 months. Right. Well, This is 8, right? So it's been an intense 2 years. But it's been an intense year as we come into August here. And I think as we've all come together and we've kind of bumped into each other in the hallways, we're like, I think there's a little bit more relaxation going, I'm not alone. Everyone is just as ahead or behind or where they are. And everyone's become okay being where they are. What do you think?
I agree with that, and you found some people that you can walk along with too, right? Whether it's a service provider or a colleague you've known or a new colleague. I've gone out of my way to meet a couple of new people that just randomly walk up to and just have a conversation and try to better understand where they're coming from, what's the frustrated challenges they're facing. I'm hearing similar themes, right? A lot of it's, let's drop the word AI. Everybody's trying to understand whether they're getting requirements or requests or asks from their leadership, their own self-driven incentive of they just want to nerd out like I do. Instead, they're trying to also find use cases and just kind of focus that so they can find the value, right?
I think that's really interesting. I hadn't thought of it like that. There are, I look at it like this now. There's a lot of really smart people. There's always a lot of smart people.
Yeah.
I mean, ILTACON brings together, as do many of the other conferences. There's some smart people. I think the service providers and the vendors and the tech innovators are more accepted and more welcome, maybe, than they ever have been before. Yes, they're all trying to sell their products and services. Yes, they're on edge because they've got numbers to meet. But I think there's something about like, I need you and you need me, and what do you think and what do you think? And some will really win here. And so long as they've got the patience to build the trust, like if you're trying to sell something and you've got numbers to make in the next 6 months, that's going to be tough. But if you're here to really be in this space and in this industry, I think you're really welcome. There's a welcoming, I feel. That's what I want to say. There's a welcoming on the floor because we're down here on the floor with the Steno booth. I think there's a welcoming of this exchange of ideas that we are together that hasn't been like that necessarily before.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in the same boat of trying to, like I said earlier, walk together towards where are we going for value?
Together.
And together.
And what does value even mean?
Yeah, exactly, because value is being redefined in some ways.
That's absolutely right.
We actually can create different things than we've been able to do before. And so I think there's an excitement about that, and I do understand that there's an entire row of new entrants, people I've never seen before. And so it's good to have these conversations about where they're at in their journey. I've always been impressed by, one, the bravery and the fortitude of a founder to develop something. And they're usually riding shotgun with somebody that's like a SME or someone that's strong, that's also passionate about whatever value that particular product's trying to push forward to. I think the ones that succeed are able to target and be really strong in a particular niche and then move forward and let things kind of organically evolve with really strong client relationships that are also invested in the similar value path.
Here's a contrarian statement that I've heard 3 times, and most recently I heard it from Stephanie Clerkin. And she said, I love all this new tech. I said, why? She goes, it provides an opportunity for me to create and generate more billable hours. And I'm like, everyone's saying that the billable hour is going away. She goes, not from where I'm sitting. From where I'm sitting, all the productivity gains that I'm making with a lot of this tech is allowing me to bill more hours on things I want to bill more hours on. My clients love me. I'm billing more hours now than I ever have before because I'm able to focus on the right things. And the tech's doing, she said the tech, AI tech, call it what you want, is doing all this stuff that I don't have to do anymore. I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
I think that's correct. I'm building more than I ever have before using AI. How about you?
Yeah, we are. We're obviously sensitive to what may benefit across multiple clients. And look at ways at valuing it in such a way that either creates efficiency and is cost competitive to the client. But ultimately, we are doing a lot of building and just making sure we're doing a valid process. Because there's tech and then there's the process around the tech that are really key in delivering it, just in case there's gaps that we just didn't see. That's the thing, when you're on the edge, you've got to test it and validate it in a lot of different ways. Just get everybody comfortable, especially the lawyers and the clients.
We started to play with this conversation yesterday morning with how AI, various versions, whether it's Copilot or ChatGPT or Perplexity and your own or off the shelf, how it is creating an opportunity for growth. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
If you're not growing, right? That's what it's all about. You don't save your way and margin your way into leadership. Leadership is generated by growth and growth in market share and net new services and net new and expanding value. I think we're about to. I do know that there's going to be some destruction or help me with a word. Begins with a D. Disruption.
Yeah, disruption.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some disruption. Okay, great. So we are going to have that, and we always have that in the world, and have for thousands of years. So here's the disruption. We know it. What are we going to do about it? Find growth. Be an entrepreneur. Be an intrapreneur. Easier said than done. But I think maybe that's what we're seeing here is this coming together of people in small little pods, right? I see you out there in the space, like you're with 3 people here, then you're with 2 people there, then you're with 10 people here, and they're not the same people. So you're really, kind of butterflying, bumblebeeing. You're bumblebeeing around, right? All these pollen centers, and you're going to take that back to Sullivan Cromwell in New York and go like, I've got some new ideas.
Exactly. And resonate the existing ideas that maybe are concepts, right? And say, oh, now I drew an outline, but I found the wrench over here, and here's the proper bolts, and now I can start putting the actual pieces together. And you have to find it in like these random conversations. You got to put yourself in a proactive mode.
That's right.
Of really active listening. Try to discern quickly whether or not this is a solution that's going to fit, and come to the table with a general understanding of your requirements and the things you're trying to solve to.
Who have you not met that you would love to meet here, right? Who's the tech guru or the tech? This is awful. Who's the Taylor Swift, of League of ILTA that you're like? Give me a male version of Taylor Swift, because I know you don't want to necessarily meet Taylor Swift. The kids aren't here, so.
No. Who have I not met? Well, I intentionally had a meeting with Andrew Sieja.
There you go.
Because he's off on some really great edges, looking at some interesting tech. So when I get into a conversation with him, he's always, even back in the day on the couch, it's always this kind of deep, where's the forward thinking going? I love seeing clients. So whenever I see a client here, I definitely engage with them and walk with them to kind of like see what kind of questions they're asking and make sure that anything that I'm advising on the lawyer side is directionally in the path that they're going. Or if we become some guinea pigs with them, and just we're going to try out something and POC it, and let's work together to kind of solve to the value that we're both looking for.
I would say I had 45 minutes with Andrew as well, and I mean he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He really is the GOAT. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that exchange of ideas with Andrew. I had some time with Hal Brooks.
Oh, nice.
Hal's
really smart.
Hal brings in, if anybody gets a chance to just like dial him up, go like, hey, Hal, Cowen says, and so does Dooley, that, you're one of the guys to talk to. What I love about his perspective is he's always bringing in the funding point of view. Hal talks about the numbers and the funding and where is the funding and is there funding and who's got it and who doesn't. Not with naming names. It's just like I don't get that point of view very often. And he talks in terms of who's financially sound, who's not financially sound, what that means, how much money's flowing in or not flowing in. And that put things in perspective for me. And Andrew, on the other hand, is like, okay, here's the edge of, like, the world is not flat.
Yeah.
And he's like, like fucking Elon Musk, He's like the Musk of the industry of like, I'm going to Mars. I'm like, you are? Can we do that? He goes, well, I am. And I'm like,
you can come with me or not.
Meanwhile, he's got, the motorcycle team,
Yeah,
and
I
he's
know.
got this team and that team and fundraising and philanthropy.
Yeah.
And it's really remarkable to witness that in our industry, like how many different balls that man.
Yeah, and it just doesn't stop. So he was just telling me about like little kitchen projects he has that are just about, and this is the biggest takeaway I had from the conversation was think in AI. So if you've got a pattern of managing your meals or managing your weight or managing a schedule, use AI to drive that. Like figure out how to make that, and it really opens the door. And I've already been trying to do that. You're quite well at it, actually. You've at least shared with me some ideas of how you've let it kind of help you schedule things and give you feedback loops and things like that. I'm going to continue to invest that time in not only myself, but also my sons. I'm enabling my children is like huge for me to help them understand the native capabilities that the application has, and it's only going to get better and bigger.
There's a guy in our industry that many people will know, but if you don't, this is another guy to look up, is Omar Haroun. Right?
Yeah,
So Omar Haroun turned me on to this concept of it's not AI, it's augmented intelligence. Yeah. And what I really like about this is that there is AI, there's no question about it, and then there's HI, which is us, which is the human in the loop. And when you put those two things together, what I get from that, and what he turned me on to, is then you get augmented intelligence. And that's really where we live. We're living in a world, I don't know where we're going to live in the future, but like right now, in the current state, I live in the world of augmented intelligence. I go into my office in the morning and I'm having numerous conversations with ChatGPT. I use other platforms as well, but Chat's my go-to right now because for me it's the best platform to ideate on, and I spend a lot of time in the world of ideation and tweaking. But I give Chat a different persona throughout the day, right? You are my guru. You're my social media guru, and I've got to write some LinkedIn. And so you've got 10 years with LinkedIn, and you know all the algorithms. So let's write something for my audience and they are legal technologists and leaders in the innovation space. And so I want to say the following: how would you say that if you were me? Give me 3 options. And it gives me these 3 options back, and then we iterate on those options. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, boom, and I send that out. I never would have been able to put together 3 options in my own head in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I now use it. I'll give you my hack and you give me yours. I now find myself listening to the AI Daily Brief.
Definitely.
In the gym. Right? I'm sitting there in the gym. This just came to me 2 weeks ago. So I'm in the gym and I'm listening to the AI Daily Brief. And historically, I would, like to your point of Andrew, like think in terms of AI. So I would then go like, when I get back to the office, I've got to do the following and I have to write it down. And I now just pull out my phone. I open up ChatGPT and I'm like, I'm listening to the AI Daily Brief. You are my social media guru. I want to write an article on this or a brief on this or a post on this. And here's what I just heard. So like, I just heard it. I'm like, if you were me, what would that sound like? And it pulls it together for me. And I'm like, okay, it's now ready for me to edit when I get back to my office.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sitting there in between sets writing a blog post.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
Tremendous amount of time saved. You've got a head start on what the content and the direction of your content, so you can kind of hit the ground running.
Well, I love 3. Give me 3 versions.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yep, that's my voice, and then I iterate on that. What's your newest, latest? Like I'm thinking, thinking in the AI world.
Yeah. So personally, I've been doing things with generating. I like spicing up my creative, so I've started talking through a narrative of my version of the world and letting it kind of come back to me around social media, sociology in general, and what's going on in politics, what's going on with my family, and just kind of like giving it this information of almost Dooley's version of, I'm calling it Dooley Noted, but
yeah, I love
building on it and just kind of saying, at some point, this thing, I'm going to let it be an expression of me and almost give it to my sons at a certain point and say, this is your father speaking. And at some point, if I leave this earth, it's going to be a representation of at least some collective ideas and thoughts in one place.
And are you doing that on Claude or Chat, or what are you
doing on Chat?
So you're using Chat, and do you just keep one stream going all the way down and keep going back to it, or do you open and close it? Yeah, I do too. I have that.
Yeah. I have that, and then I do have some
That's a big hack. Hold on one
subfolders.
second.
Yeah.
That's a big hack for people who. It was a big hack for me when I figured it out. It's like I kept going every day. Would open up another window and another window. I'm like, I don't do that anymore. I have one that's just ongoing, so chat doesn't have amnesia on me.
Yeah, you need the context. That's the beauty of it,
Constant.
right? That's the training of it. Yeah. And the context windows are just growing and growing and growing. So I put a lot of energy into just kind of thinking, how do I retain that so that when I do ideate, it's not only giving me its version, but it's also learned a bit of how I see the world. And so it's coming at me, and because if I ask for something contrarian, it's going to tell me the opposite of, because it knows it has an anchor about how I see the world. It's like, well, Stephen, did you think about this angle? Did you think about this? Yeah, I guess so. I gotta.
So it's prompting. See, I love the nudge.
Yeah,
I love this new. I don't know how it works, but I do love that. I'll give it some. I'll give it a prompt. I'll give it a personality. I'm like, okay, you are. So there's some context to it. And then when we get down to the end of the first ideation, it goes, do you want to do this, this, or this?
Yeah.
I'm getting nudged by it, and I'm like, oh, I love that. And so now I'm like, okay, now do this, this, and this, and now ask me 3 questions at the end. Before we finalize this, ask me 3 questions, and it further nudges me along. I'm finding this collaboration. This is just the beginning of a collaboration. And I probably sound so pedestrian to, the agentic builders in the world. I'm like, this is where I am right now, everybody. I'm like, I'm taking my suit jacket off, and I'm just, here in shirt sleeves. What can I do?
Well, I think for a personal level, it's something that I've connected with. I've also done some video-generated stuff on VO3, and my uncle passed away a month ago, and of just older age, and I did a memorial video that was completely generated with using AI. Canvas was the tool I used, and I took several of his pictures that were 2-dimensional, did the kind of live action thing with them, and they came out amazing, and the entire family was just like impressed by this very live and dynamic. And he was a very live and dynamic person, so everything was themed around him. I had songs that were harkened back from his various times of life, and all that stuff, that I felt like I was generating a Hollywood-level production
so you're
at my fingertips.
So you're taking us to the end here, right? It's your turn to ask me a question, which we've teed up just a little bit. So congratulations. It was a great celebration of your uncle. So well done.
Thank you.
That's inspired me to think about my dad. My dad's 91 years old, right? Not that he's going anywhere anytime soon, right? He promises me he's not going anywhere soon. But it was inspiring. So
no, I appreciate that. He was an inspiring person. So the whole family came together and enjoyed his life.
Did you say come together?
Yes. So my question to you, David, I'm going to spin it on you.
I love it.
Because you always do famously ask people for songs. What's your song, especially in light of where we're at right now with ILTACON?
Yeah, so my song that would capture this today would be Come Together.
Oh, wow, nice. Good one.
By the Beatles. And so let's do a little bit of that, shall we?
Such a classic melody. You always know that song.
Thank God I know a lot of lawyers that when I get my cease and desist from Spotify, it's going to be like, can you help me out? Hey, brother, can you help me out?
That's funny.
Come together. Stephen Dooley, man, I love
so much,
thinking out loud together with you,
hanging out with you.
Thank you so much.
You're never going to replace ChatGPT. I'll always talk to you.
Thanks, man. If you enjoyed this show, be sure to give us a like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your shows. And if you want to take your career from now to next, never eat alone.